I'm curious, as you watch it tonight, like what else do you notice? Do you think about the cut? Do you think about details that you're seeing fresh? Anything like that?
Um, I watch it again more than anything. I don't know that I've ever appreciated everybody's onstage work so much as tonight. It's almost as time goes by, it becomes more and more clear how brilliant that band was, and just what a great moment in time. Yeah, the right place, right time syndrome is because I saw the show in California. I think at the Greek Theater. And I was struck by the fact that, gosh, this is like a movie that just hasn't been filmed yet. I was a big Talking Heads fan. As a New Yorker, I happened to be in California, so we contacted Warner Brothers Records and met with David. Gary Getz and I met with David Byrne and pitched the idea of filming it. David liked that idea, and I said, okay, we'll go find some financing, and the next thing I knew, Warner's was going to finance it. So suddenly we were happening. And this was the last time the Heads ever performed for an audience. They recorded one more album and broke up. So we were there to capture them arguably at their height, and certainly at the magic hour, final moment of their performance.
I think when we think about the director of this film, we think about him having even a greater familiarity with these characters. But I'm curious, how much did you actually, get to know the band?
Yeah, quite well over the course of the little tour that we did, and they were that is a great bunch of people, and it was a lot of fun being with them, and like we've said before, when you're filming a band or an artist, it's you kind of like. You aspire to and ideally become part of the band. We're the part of the band that films the rest of the band, and we were very very tight. It was a great moment in time. The that sense of community and how interesting everybody is beyond their musicianship. That was one of the things that really popped when I saw the show live. It was like, wow, this is an extraordinary community of people, and of course you got to love it because it's like multi-gender. It's like totally a community of people showing how great it is when people of different genders and different races get together and do good stuff.
So I'm wondering, what were you thinking was going to happen when this film got released?
I'm not sure we had that much forward-thinking thought. We shot it and cut it very quickly in this amazing setup that Hal Ashby had created. It's pre-Avid, obviously, and it was a whole crazy thing, and Hal just gave us this setup. And then we were invited to the San Francisco Film Festival, and it was one of those things of like, oh, are we going to finish the mix in time? And can we print out of the lab? So we literally went up to San Francisco from LA, fresh from the lab, had this extraordinary screening at the San Francisco Film Festival, and the next thing I remember is we were off to the Florence Film Festival for another great screening, and then it opened in some theaters and was beautifully received. But we had no aspirations beyond making it. Gary and I just wanted to make this movie, and it's look, 30 years later, we're 32 years later, we're here still. It's amazing.
And after it came out and had some success, I believe one thing that came out of that was your was a request to do the Spalding Gray movie, Swimming in Cambodia, that we're going to see next week. Were other people coming at you and saying, "Do my band"?
No. And I'm not. I guess. Yeah. The success of Sense must have helped stimulate my involvement in Swimming in Cambodia, which again is a performance film. Obviously, a whole other kettle of fish. We do have a score by Laurie Anderson, but there's no live music being shown. What it did was it opened the door to music videos for me, which were just kind of starting up.
Well, so talk about the Justin Timberlake film, because it originated because he's such a fan of this film.
Yeah, it's true. It's like the Timberlake film, which I hope you see. It's going to drop October 12th. See?
Jonathan is not happy about this film not being shown in theaters.
Well, it's true. We made it for the big screen, the Timberlake movie, and we enjoyed the big screen. Thanks to your invitation in Toronto. I'm hoping that once it drops, that Netflix will just loosen up a little bit, and if folks want to show the film on a big screen somewhere, they will permit it.
So we were talking the podcast that I dropped last week. And we were recording that conversation the day that the Justin Timberlake film was going to premiere. And you describe at the beginning of the Justin Timberlake film, near the beginning of his concert, he comes out on stage and there's a shadow of him looking like he's wearing a big suit. And you said you were going to ask him if that was an homage. Did you have a chance to ask him that question?
I forgot. But I'll tweet him. No, wait, I don't tweet. I'm sorry. We don't have to do this around drop anymore. I think we'll just, you know what I mean.
You filmed 4 nights, and you're cutting between those nights. Are you cutting within songs? Within a single song, are we seeing 2 or 3 different nights of shots?
Sometimes there's a music edit. We find a spot where we can, seamlessly flip to the other side. And in those days, the kind of lighting that the brilliant Jordan Cronenweth, what a godsend. Jordan Cronenweth, Blade Runner, any number of great films, was actually the DP on this. So he lit the first night from the left, second night from the right, third night he did some other kind of variation. We had, it looked beautiful from any angle. Now, the way, there's new kinds of lights we can use, and everything looks gorgeous from every angle, if you're working with a great DP. You just need to find a beat to cut on and flip over, and then you find a way to get back to the other side.
Talk to me about the titles in this film, those hand-drawn titles, which I remember when the film came out in 1984, even the poster, there was something striking about hand-drawn titles as opposed to regular typesetting that you'd see.
When you get home, if you're remotely curious, Google the credit sequence of Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. This is a complete ripoff of those titles, also done by Pablo Ferro, one of the master of title designs and other things. And we were just like, Pablo, can you do something like the Strangelove titles? And Pablo's like, I can do the Strangelove titles. So I was like, let's go. So there we have it. And this has been copied by people other than Pablo Ferro. And every once in a while, this kind of idea will pop up somewhere. But I love the titles.
So if anyone didn't hear it, the question was, during Once in a Lifetime, when did you realize that the most effective way to edit that film would be to not cut away from David Byrne until the moment you do?
Well, as you know, one of the great ongoing conceits of filmmakers is to long takes. So I think, you're always looking for an opportunity. But with this film, and with all the music films, we aspire to somehow, in addition to the difference in the staging, we want each song to feel different somehow through the editing, if at all possible. And we had that great shot, that I didn't plan it, but it started out on Bernie Worrell, setting the mood, hands over to David. And I remember sitting there with Lisa Day, and we're like, okay, that's a great opening. And then we're just like, yeah, no reason to cut yet. 2 minutes later, no reason to cut yet. 3 minutes later, it's really getting powerful now. And then finally we cut, because we didn't want to push our luck, having been able to play that for so long. We cut to that wonderful side shot with the kind of like nimbus lighting going on and stuff. So that was a pleasure.
So the question was, how different was the concert from the film that...
The staging, nothing changed for the movie. The only thing that's different from the stage show that I saw in the film is in Slippery People, when David squares off with Lynn and Edna doing the guitar dance, I used 2 nights worth of that break. So I just love that so much. We're just like, well, we'll just extend it. And David was like, "That's weird," you know. Like, is it okay? Yeah, I guess so. But apart from that, and the lighting. David had this vision of the lighting and how he wanted to be incredibly stark and extremely graphic, and went to great pains with his lighting directors to achieve a look. But then knew that whenever it was playing in concert halls, there were doors opening and closing all the time. There were lots of little guide lights and stuff. So he knew that the graphic nature of the lighting was being diluted. So for David to be able to team up with Jordan Cronenweth and rehearse, they went through the lights painstakingly. I wasn't there. I was busy doing something else. But they really went through it, and David finally got to see in the movie. That's what was in his head when he dreamt up this show. It's his show. He illustrates how a sound is developed by bringing the band members on one at a time.
The question was, not being able to take your eyes off of David Byrne in this film, what do you make of that?
Well, at the end of the day, with all those dazzling artists on stage, David is the superstar. And he's also the kind of the hero of this implied narrative beyond the building the music. It seems like David is a character starting with Psycho Killer and then goes through changes, and that's reflected in many ways. And the set list is arranged in a very specific way to kind of make it feel journey-like. Take Me to the River is when the character is set free. We're sticking with our hero. I guess David's the hero, the on-screen hero of this story.
So the question was about showing the audience. We kind of started to reveal them at the end. Why wait till the end, or why show them at all?
Well, the very first night we shot this, we kind of lit the audience because our assumption was the audience is part of the show, and we're going to want to see them reacting. And what happened, it was a disaster, because with light on the audience, it turned out, became very inhibited. And we're just like aware of these cameras, and we're not demonstrative in the way that Heads fans always were, in the dark. So one time I saw David blow his stack, was after that show, going like, "No more lights on the..." He really flipped that. He was so right. They weren't giving us anything, we weren't giving them anything. So the next night I was like, okay, no light on the audience until the encore song, When the House Lights Go Up, and now you could actually see the audience. So it seemed, now we could film them if we wanted to. But in the cutting room, I quickly learned, and I've applied this to most of the music films I've done, is that there's nothing going on out here that's more interesting than what's going on up here. Why waste a camera on the audience when you could be detailing what's going on stage in an even more comprehensive way? The other thing is I felt like if I'm watching this movie, I would like to feel this performance I'm seeing was kind of made for me, not for those people who are like rocking out and we're actually there, because we're competing with live music when we do a music film, and we can never win, but we can, aspire to getting very close and creating a really righteous, ultimate kind of experience.
Thank you very much for coming. Thanks especially.
Thank you,
Jonathan Demme.
Thank you, Thom. Thank you. Thank you all.